Anakin Skywalker is a character created by Star Wars creator George Lucas, and as stated by Star Wars Theory, is an extremely complex character who is heavily conflicted, drawn to be good by the rigid system that taught him to be selfless. But a traumatic childhood as a slave left him wanting revenge, and this pull between two sides ultimately broke him into falling into rage, creating Darth Vader, an embodiment of all the broken aspects of Anakin Skywalker. Anakin's fall into evil can be represented through Sigmund Freud's psychodynamic theory, which states our personalities are influenced by our experiences as a child and our unconscious desires. Maslow's humanistic theory, which is a hierarchical placement of the motivation behind human behaviour, and trait theory, in that every person has certain basic traits and depending on the intensity of said traits account for the differences in their personality. Psychodynamic theory, proposed by infamous psychologist Sigmund Freud, states that behaviour is influenced by childhood experiences and unconscious desires. Freud's theory suggests that behaviour is derived from 3 stages of consciousness and the belief that each personality is influenced by 3 mental forces. Anakin Skywalker is a character whose thoughts and being is rife with conflict. His conscious thoughts compel him to stick to the dogmatic ways of the Jedi Order that raised him to be good. In Revenge of the Sith, Anakin is faced with killing his rival Count Dooku. He says,
"I shouldn't,"
showing that even when faced with his worst enemy, his conscious thoughts lie on doing the right thing. Due to his haunted past, his unconscious self is engulfed in pain and regret for his mother. These emotions slowly start to overcome Anakin, leaving him conflicted and susceptible to evil, seen immediately after when he kills Count Dooku after Palpatine manipulated him into killing him. In Clone Wars Season 3 Episode 15, Anakin has a vision of his mother verbally assaulting him. This is symbolism for Anakin's unconscious feelings of regret and guilt that was caused from watching his mother die in his arms in Attack of the Clones. Anakin's preconscious is a looming presence over him. Feelings of mistrust continue to swell inside of him as the people he trusts become distant. Clone Wars Season 4 Episode 15 shows Anakin's friend Obi-Wan fake his death for an undercover mission. After finding out he was alive, his trust would be fractured with both the Jedi and Obi-Wan. This would leave Anakin untrusting and susceptible to evil, thus leading Anakin to fall to the dark side from the reminder that the Jedi do not trust him. Anakin's struggle between the light and dark side is symbolism for the battle between the id and the superego. Anakin is inherently superego. His compassion for others is so strong he is willing to sacrifice himself for his friends, as exhibited in Clone Wars Season 1 Episode 13. When the spaceship around him is exploding, he pushes his friends to safety and stands his ground trying to stop the explosion from reaching them. However, due to a lack of support from his friends in the Jedi Order, he began to give more into reckless behaviour. This can be seen in Clone Wars Season 5 Episode 20 when his apprentice is framed for treason. So he seeks out the assailant, and when faced with the culprit he chooses violence in trying to subdue them, instead of using a more negotiable approach. The order to dismiss Anakin's concerns is nothing. Therefore, Anakin uses his defense mechanism of sublimation to overcome this. He always goes to extra levels to accommodate for it. This is portrayed best in Clone Wars Season 4 Episode 15, when he tracks down a bounty hunter that presumably killed his friend, and after the Jedi High Council told him specifically not to. The humanistic theory by Abraham Maslow is the idea that everyone is in control of their own personality in life. To represent this, Maslow created a pyramid, the hierarchy of needs. Anakin's goals and ambitions are solely to protect the ones that he loves and to defeat the Sith. He is motivated through his compassion for his friends and his wife. Anakin's needs fall under the deficiency needs of love and belonging, but the Jedi Order demands he focus on self-actualization. Anakin needs love and belonging. In Revenge of the Sith, when he speaks to Yoda about having visions about the death of someone close to him, and instead of meeting his needs of wanting support, Yoda instead instructs him to ignore these feelings, thus allowing for Palpatine to provide an illusion of this support by saying,
"To save your wife from certain death,"
and luring Anakin away from the Jedi and destroying his chances at reaching his full potential. Anakin does not have the capabilities to reach self-actualization, as he is so devoted to protecting his wife, prevents him from seeking growth within himself. In Revenge of the Sith, he states,
"Just help me save Padme's life. I can't live without her."
The obsession led him to rebel against the Jedi and into a path of hate and falling to the dark side. The trait theory, according to BerkeleyWellbeing.com and Maricopa.edu, is a theory proposed by Robert R. McRae and Paul Costa that people differ based on certain traits and the intensity of those traits. This is commonly known as the Big Five. Anakin Skywalker ranges in emotions and traits. He is a conscientious person that displays hard work and dedication, however can be reckless and unorganized. This can be seen in the Clone Wars Season 3 episode 18 through 20, when though he doesn't account for every aspect of the mission, he was able to find workarounds in order to accomplish the task. Anakin is also agreeable, in that he holds compassion for his friends and loved ones. This can be seen in the same episodes when, even though he told her directly not to, Anakin's apprentice Ahsoka came anyway, and instead of scolding her, he advised her on the mission, as even though she disobeyed his orders, and often does, he still holds compassion for her. Anakin is a very loving yet angry character, as he scores highly with an openness, extroversion, and agreeableness, as he wants a good fight, however cautious of others' safety. This idea is best portrayed in Clone Wars Season 1 Episode 14, when Anakin is hurt badly. He still chooses to fight in hopes to protect a small village. Anakin also ranks neutrally within both conscientiousness and neuroticism, being hard-working however unorganized. Though he is a positive person, he is prone to anger when provoked. This can be seen within the Clone Wars animated movie. When retrieving a hostage, he is faced with an army that was not accounted for, and instead of retreating, he rushes headfirst into it. Throughout the war, Anakin's personality changed significantly. Anakin's neuroticism was much lower, often being calm and rational. However, as the war continued, he became more neurotic and began using violence as his first offense, as seen within the Clone Wars Season 7 Episode 4, when Anakin is faced with an enemy. Instead of coming to a reasonable solution, Anakin acts out of anger and kills them, thus showing his neurotic traits becoming more aggressive. Anakin Skywalker has faced challenging situations. Though he is passionate and caring, he often finds himself acting out of anger and resulting in violence. He feels that he needs love and belonging, but the system that raised him forbid it. And even when seeking this love in secret, it still led him to destruction. And throughout the war, he changed from a man of thinking and passion to anger and regret, thus culminating in Darth Vader, the embodiment of the mistakes of Anakin Skywalker. However, what if Anakin got the love that he needed? Would he still end up in a robotic suit void of love, or would he thrive and finally reach his prophesized full potential?